Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the world of JavaScript arrays and exploring a concept called a polyfill. We'll specifically be focusing on the reduce method and how to create a polyfill for it. So you might be wondering, what is reduce? The reduce method is a powerful tool for working with arrays. It iterates through each element, applying a function called the callback function to accumulate a single value. So this can be super useful for tasks like finding the sum, average, or creating a new object from an array. Now, why do we need a polyfill for reduce? So while reduce is widely supported in modern browsers, older browsers might not have it. A polyfill bridges this gap by providing a fallback implementation for unsupported features. Now let's build our reduce polyfill. Here is a step-by-step breakdown. So before building a polyfill, let me first show you how our reduce method works. So for that, let me first create an array. Let's say our array will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? So this is our array. Now I'll have to console first. So I'll use the array.reduce, which will have accumulator and the current value. Right? And then it will return accumulator plus current value. So here we are calculating the sum of all the elements of the array, right? Let's check if we are getting or not. See, here we are getting the sum. Okay, let me increase one more number, add one more number to the array. So we'll have 21 as the sum, right? So now let's create a polyfill for reduce, right? So for that, let me just show you what arguments that reduce method takes in. So first it takes in a callback and then an initial value, right? So this callback has accumulator, current value, current index, and the array itself, right? So to create a polyfill, we have to start with array.prototype, and then we have to name our polyfill. We have to give the name to our polyfill function, which is meraReduce, right? So this could be a function. Let me name it meraReduceFunction, right? So this could be a function which has. So this is a function which takes in a callback first, right? So we will give a callback, then it should take an initial value, right? So we'll give an initial value also, right? Now what we will have to do, we will have to just assign an accumulator with an initial value, right? Now to calculate this sum, we have to iterate through each and every element of the array, right? So for iteration, we can use the for loop. So for loop start with let I equals to 0 and I is less than this dot length, which is the array dot length, and then I plus plus. Now what we have to do is we have to initial value. So we will check if any initial value is provided. If not, we will use the first element of this array to the accumulator in the first iteration, right? So we'll iterate through array for each value inside the for loop. Inside the loop, call the callback function with the current. We will call the callback function with the accumulator, then current value, which is this dot I, then index, current index, then the array itself, right? As we will assign the first element of, else we will assign the first element of the array to the accumulator in the first iteration, right? And once the for loop completes, we'll return the accumulator, right? Now let me here first tell default reduce output so that we can differentiate between the outputs, and here we will say mera reduce output, right? And here I'll give the name array.myReduce, right? So let's check if we are getting the same response or not. Yes, we are getting the same response, right? So let me first increase the, add one more value to it, so which is 28, right? So the sum of these all these value would be 28, which is 6, 10, and 21, and then 28, right? So this is our polyfill. So with our polyfill, with our polyfill in place, we can now use reduce even in older browsers. So with, like, here is an example of a polyfill. So this can be used in older browsers also. So polyfills are handy way to ensure compatibility across different browsers. By creating a reduce polyfill, we can leverage the power of this method even in older environments. So that's all for today's videos. Feel free to play around with the code and explore different use cases for reduce. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to help you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more JavaScript adventures.